Good evening, TDN listeners, and welcome to This Week in Interview with your host, Anthony Drago. I want to say a very special good evening to those of you in Dominica who may be listening to me on DIgiplay channel 59, our station. It's not actually a sister station, but affiliate station, RVR Jamz, carries This Week in Interview live on DIgiplay channel 59. So those of you who are tuning in can look at us on there. Tonight we have a very special program, so I invite you to share the link with your friends. Invite them to come on. There's some exciting news that we are going to be talking about tonight. My regular listeners, welcome. I always tell you how much I appreciate you making the time to have This Week in Interview as part of your weekly schedule, and for that I'm super grateful and humbled. And if tonight is the first time that you're listening to This Week in Interview, welcome. I hope you like our discussion and you too can become a regular listener. Tonight we are going to be talking about music in schools, and in particular an initiative that's on the way to introduce steel band into various schools in Dominica, I guess with the ultimate goal of having bands at the schools, but also we know the benefit of doing art and music and that type of thing as part of the curriculum. So that's what our discussion is going to be. I have two guests with me tonight, Ms. Andrea Louis and Mr. Lennon Matthew. They represent two parts of a collaboration that's happening between an organization that calls themselves the Steel Band Initiative and Pan in Harmony in Dominica. You may be more familiar with Pan in Harmony because they've been around for a while and they've been doing tremendous work on the ground in Dominica. And so Andrea is representing Pan in Harmony. Lennon is from the Steel Band Initiative. And tonight they're going to tell us about the exciting events that is happening in Dominica in terms of introducing steel band music to the schools. What I'm going to do, as I always do every week, is to play the CARICOM anthem. And so stay tuned, and I don't want to waste too much time because I know we have a lot to talk about. And let's listen to Michael Henderson do the CARICOM anthem. And when I come back, we'll be talking to Lennon and Andrea. Stay tuned.
People say I've
distant lands our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains, through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in So great and diverse be our ethnicities. The bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We climb, we pray, we love, we dance and we play. We relate to each other, rest in your way. Today as a people united as one. Determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon. The future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong. Feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caricom. Hele, hele, guavo. Hope you sing Caricom. Leve, leve, guau. Naki you drum Caricom. Tabu ya tabu, awo. Hope you sing Caricom. Leve, leve, guau. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong. Feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caricom. Hele, hele, guavo. Hope you sing Caricom. Leve, leve, guau. Hele, hele. Tabu ya tabu, awo. Naki you drum Caricom. Leve, leve, guau.
All right, welcome back, listeners. I like to play the Caricom anthem because I have this dream of deeper and stronger collaboration between the Caribbean islands. And so I play Michael Henderson Caricom. Well, the Caricom anthem is really a formally adopted anthem by Caricom. And it was Michael Henderson won the contest that they had to choose the anthem. And so, in the spirit of collaboration, and to show the results that collaboration can yield, my guests tonight are indeed involved in a collaboration between Still Band Initiative, Still Pan Initiative, and Pan in Harmony. And they're collaborating on a project to bring Still Band music to schools in Dominica, to introduce the students in Dominica of Pan music. They want to see more music in schools, and culturally, Still Band seems to fit perfectly in that mold. I ask you to invite folks to join in the discussion. They can find us on RVR Jamz on DIgiplay channel 59. We're streaming live on YouTube, on Roku, and we're on Facebook. This Week in Interviews Facebook page, TDN Radio Facebook page. Also, those who may be in their cars, driving in their cars, you can get the audio on tdnradio.net. And if you don't have Facebook, you can still find us live on tdntv.net. So tdntv.net is the more popular one, but you can find us streaming live on Facebook. So without much further ado, I want to invite my guest. Andrea is joining us from Dominica, and Len is just like me. He's in the wilderness. How can you sing a song in the wilderness? We are away from home. We are in the United States. I'm in New York, and he is on the west side. But we're all joined by one purpose, which is to really see an improvement in Dominica and by extension the Caribbean. And so, Len, I want to tell you a very special welcome to the program. Um, tell us about yourself briefly, but also um, about what is Steel Pan Initiative, just as a brief intro. We'll go into the deeper details as we go on.
Yeah, so for those of you who are hearing me for the first time, the name is Lennon Matthew. Originally from the village of Benz, spent most of, well, my earlier part of my life growing up in Benz. My dad, a school teacher, my mom was a preschool teacher, and taught geography at the Portsmouth Secondary School for a couple of years prior to going to study at Midwestern State University. I am currently employed as a geologist in the state of Texas doing petroleum cleanup. But one of my passion has been music, and all from a very early age, I had a knack and a talent for it, and never gave it up. In my spare time when I'm not working, I tinker with musical instruments. And at one point, I lived in Florida, played in a band for a little bit, the New Osaka Boys.
Mhm.
Played in a couple carnival. I played the bass guitar and so on. But interestingly, I came to Midwestern State University, and for the first time, I touched the steel pan when I joined the Midwestern State Pan Ensemble. And like I said, music had always been interesting to me. And I think, Drago, it is you and I who had a conversation when you mentioned one time that you would like to see music in schools like they have in the U.S. And my son, who is a senior in high school, loved playing the trombone and actually been playing the trombone in school for quite some time. And I saw the organization of music in the school and how fast they were able to teach him to play trombone from knowing nothing about trombone, and in 2-3 weeks playing together with other students. And when you and I had that conversation, my brain has always been racing. And it just hit me that, the same thing that they have with the band organizations in school, playing the different instruments, the orchestra, the trombones, the trumpets, whatever the case may be, we can do the same thing in the Caribbean with steel pan. And having grown up in the country area, not having that opportunity to learn music, even if I had the gift to do it, I thought steel band would be a great opportunity to bring back to the school. For one, it's probably one of the few instruments that have been created by former slaves in Trinidad and Tobago, which is part of our region. And two, I see the steel band had been spreading in the U.S. in colleges and universities around the U.S. And I thought, what better equipment, what better instrument to bring back music to the schools in the Caribbean. And when we had that conversation, Drago, that thought came to my mind. I called a few folks I knew who were serious at getting stuff done. Yourself, Alvin Thomas, Eloise, and a few other people, and talked about the idea of how can we contribute to the steel pan, to getting steel pan in the schools. So I made a few calls, made a few wrongs, talked to a few people, called home, found out who was involved in the steel pan. And then a couple names came up, and Jackie was one of them who came up. And I got in contact with her. And when my mind's made up to do something, it doesn't matter how far I am, we can get stuff done. We got in contact with Jackie, and here we are today, trying to get steel pans into the school. And I must say, in its infancy, even as we are figuring it out as we go, we were able to get the Pan in Harmony guys to do display in Cassie Bruce Benz, Savant Pie, and I think St. Martin's School. But all in all, it's about the kids. I think music is really important in your social, your educational development, and it's critical for the kids to stay grounded and in their development. And I think it's a great opportunity to contribute as a diasporan, to contribute back to my home and my country.
All right, thank you for that, Len. And yes, indeed, the conversation was an inspired conversation, and it's starting to bear fruit. Also with us on the line from Dominica is Miss Andrea Louis. Andrea is with Pan in Harmony, and they are doing the real hard work, the boots on the ground, the collaboration, all of that. And so Andrea, it's a pleasure to have you on this weekend interview. Just like Len, I would like you to do a brief intro of yourself and talk about your side of the collaboration, Pan in Harmony.
Well, good evening to you, Anthony, and good evening to you, Len. And of course, good evening to all those who are tuned in to this program. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to spread the word about the Steel Pan Initiative and the plans in Dominica to bring steel pan to schools around the country. This is a very important project for us because we know that steel pan is culturally linked to Dominica and the region, really, by extension. And we know that over the past few years, there have been comments about steel pan not being as popular as it used to be. So we're very excited and committed to this project of bringing steel pans to the various schools. With this project, we are targeting four schools, two primary schools and two secondary schools. So we have the Benz Primary, Davonpie Primary, Castlebrooke Secondary School, and the St. Martin Secondary School. We had done tours at each of them where we exposed them to the instrument, to the versatility of the instrument, the different genres that can be played. And I can tell you from our reports that they were very, very excited about it, and so were we. And we are very much looking forward to increasing the number of steel pan players in Dominica and hopefully having a panorama in time to come, and even having, village festivals where you have like three or four bands in one village. That so to have a lot of people play the pan and appreciate the instrument and help keep culture alive. And we're very happy to partner with the Silpan Initiative. We're very flattered they reached out to us, and we're just playing our part to spread the word in Dominica and raise awareness and keep the interest going because Silpan is so integral to our culture. We cannot let it die.
Certainly. Thank you. And of course, thank you for coming on and for all of what you do. You, when I say you, I mean you as representative of Pan
Pan
and
in harmony,
Harmony.
yes.
You guys do tremendous work. Uh, Andrew, I'm going to stay with you. Just talk in general about the state of steel pan music in Dominica. Do you see it reviving? Is it what kind of reaction do you get um, uh, when you do pan stuff, and not necessarily just in the schools, but in the community in general?
I completely understand. So the state of steel pan in Dominica is not what it used to be. By that I mean there aren't as many bands. There are many efforts to revive steel pan around the country, but I will admit that we have a number of challenges. One of
Hmm.
them being a lack of instruments, another one being a lack of tutors or teachers or trainers. So when those challenges are combined, it is very difficult. So we in Fine and Harmony are lucky in that we have instruments and we can read music and we teach ourselves and we have people among us who can teach. The problem really arises when you have people, when you rather you don't have teachers in the out district and you don't have instruments to go to the out districts. For example, over the years there was this huge festival. It was Pan by the Bay, and everybody would come to Pan by the Bay, and you would have several bands. You would have junior bands, young children, so you knew that they were being taught steel pan from a young age. And you would have more senior bands like Pan and Phase 5, even Ati Matters. So you knew that pan was across the spectrum from the young to the not so young. But nowadays, that's not so much the case. And we have been trying to bring it back. I know that MBD Posse called Japan, they are very active, very vibrant. But especially after the hurricane, some pans got damaged, some bands haven't been able to get back on their feet. So that has been a blow to the steel pan community in Dominica. But we do have programs that we try to revive. For example, DIFA, they have steel pan classes. They have them for children and for adults. So that is one way to keep the steel pan movement going. But the problem arises whereby after DIFA, what do you do? There aren't any community bands that you can go into. There aren't any school bands that you can continue with. So it's always a matter of you have the structured programs, but after that, what happens? So therein lies the real problem of reviving steel pan in Dominica. Now, when we actually do perform, people are very receptive and they enjoy the steel pan performance and they even indicate wanting to join the steel band. But then how practical is it? Because if you've come down to Roseau from, let's say, Benz, and you say, oh my gosh, I love the pan, I want to learn to play, it's not practical for you to come down to Roseau twice a week, every week to learn pan. You know, it's better if you have it in your own community, and that is what we don't have. So people are receptive, they do enjoy it, but it's a case of bringing it out to the rest of the country so that it
Okay.
lives and it thrives among the people.
Right. So we get the idea. There are some challenges. There's some work to do. Len, uh, you spoke about seeing the effect of music on your kids in school, and how that inspires you to try to replicate or to do something similar in Dominica. And you say you have a passion for music. So let's just spend a couple of minutes just talking about the impact music in general can have on young people while they're developing, on the society, just the whole importance of having a structured music program in the schools.
Yeah. Hey, this is gonna be based purely on my observation. I am no
Mhm.
expert in music
No. That's
psychology,
all I'm asking for as a parent.
psychology. But one thing I must say, what I have learned through even my experience learning to play music, I sat down at the back of my house and learned to play the guitar with three chords and figure it out. It has helped in concentration, it has helped in focus, it has helped in the endurance and determination, because sometimes it's by no means easy, but if you have that passion and that love for it, um, you keep going. And I think that's some of the important lessons they have learned. For my son, I'll give you a perfect example. The high school he plays with made it to national title this year in I can't remember the name of that city, but they came out seventh or eighth, somewhere about. And one of the lessons,
Nationally. Yeah.
yeah, in national, and I had to
Mhm.
sit down and talk to him, and I said, look at that. You guys been practicing day in, day out, competing with so many different schools, and even after all that competition, you still came out seventh. So that means there were six other team schools that were better than you. But just imagine the amount of effort you had to put for an hour of production. And I said, that is sometimes life. That is what life is about. For you to be good at anything, for you to be strive for perfection, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of practice. Even if you're school, your whatever you want to become in life, a doctor, an engineer, it takes a lot of practice to become at the top. So I think that kind of info, that kind of level of education helps the kids with the stamina. Music, I've heard, help folks with doing maths, doing counting, because you basically have to read and count while you play music or you read music. The other thing I have observed is, if you look at the quality of our music in the Caribbean, or in Dominica, I should say, for example, back in the old days, when you listen to the older bands and bands like Gramax, some of those guys had really good musical arrangements, their songs, their quality of their songs. And you could tell at the time there was music education in school. When we fast forward to what we see today, we have a lot of talented kids in Dominica, talented musicians, just learning by ear for the most part, but you don't see that finesse. And I think the third thing it does is, for something to last, it has to be on paper. You have to be able to read it, you have to be able to write it. And I think there is so much culture richness in our culture and our musical genes in the islands. And the only way to keep it going is to have the young folks involved, have the young folks coming up with new ideas. And if we don't create those opportunities for them, we're going to lose, probably a Beethoven, probably, somebody who had that skill and that gift and talent and never was able to realize it because the environment and the opportunities were not there. So these are some of the things that, I think about while we try to, get the bands and music in the school.
That's awesome, and I can identify with a lot of those benefits. Andrea, from a Dominican perspective, in Dominica right now, and the efforts that Pan and Harmony is putting together to bring Pan into the schools. what would you say you would think would be the major benefits of that program taking root and being successful at the school level in Dominica?
Oh, the benefits are they're multiple, they're wide reaching. The main one I see is keeping culture alive. And you also have the benefit of the children appreciating the art form. You have the parents and other adults, the wider community taking it on. It also helps children with their schoolwork, as Len mentioned. So it helps with mathematics because what we hope to do is to teach theory as well as the practical. So it's not just come and knock the pan, but you actually learn the music, you learn to count the beats and count the rest. So it helps with academics as well. That's very important. So you have keeping the culture alive, helping children academically, helping them musically. They may even branch out to other instruments outside of the steel pan. And it's just a thing that can bring community together. You often hear of people saying that the youth, they're idle, they have nothing to do, they're not being productive. But if you have a steel band in your area, you can have young people off of the streets. You can have them involved in something positive and uplifting and have them involved in something they can look forward to. And you can look forward to seeing the results of their hard work.
So certainly you're saying that a lot of the issues that we're seeing right now in terms of the young people may learning music in school would contribute towards alleviating some of that type of behavior.
It is a possibility. I'm not quoting any hard and strong facts, but it kind of helped. That's my opinion. Now, music appeals to some people and not others, but I'm sure to those it appeals for those it appeals to, we'll see something positive from them for sure. And the thing is, it's a ripple effect because if I like music, for example, but Len doesn't, I can bring him into the band with me because we're friends, you know what I mean? So he may
Right.
grow to like it more than I do. So you have that ripple effect happening as well. So you will see positive things coming from young people who are involved in steel bands.
Yeah, certainly. And if I can speak from my experience, I'm not a musician. I've never been in a band, but
Oh.
a lot of what I learned in school, I learned it not necessarily in the classroom. In primary school, I was in the 4-H club. In secondary school, I was in Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme.
Right.
In college, a couple of the different organizations at college came back to Dominica. I was in Dominica JCs. And just working with your peers at whatever stage that you are teaches you so much more about life than just maths and English and science and all of those kind of things. And as Len says, it also contributes to your performance in the classroom because
Yeah.
even at the basic level of having to organize yourself so you can make it to practice and still do your homework, just being
Time
able to
management skills.
exactly time management skills and all of that. So I can emphatically say that I believe that kind of association with steel band and it's just one aspect of it can definitely make a difference. We are 8:29. I'm going to take a commercial break right now because when we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit more in detail as to the project itself, the initiative to bring steel band to the schools in Dominica. Give us some idea as to what you guys have done so far, what plans you have. Tell listeners how they can contribute, where they can find the work, and so on. So let's take a quick break. Let's say a word from the sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Presented by
If you live in Canada, the US, and the UK and are looking for Dominica products including cocoa sticks, bay rum, coffee, soaps, crafts, and other popular Dominica items, then look no further. You can now shop on BuyDominicaOnline.com, a secure, easy-to-navigate website selling a wide variety of Dominica-made and Dominica-inspired products. When you shop on BuyDominicaOnline.com, you are helping to grow Dominica's economy. Go to BuyDominicaOnline.com and enjoy home away from home.
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
All right, welcome back, listeners. I don't know, Sam, if you can put back up the flyer for the back to school drive that's being done by DotSAC. We maybe could highlight some of that so listeners can see if they want to support that drive by DotSAC. While you're doing that, I want to talk to listeners about September 25th is World Rivers Day. And if there's anything that Dominica should be involved with is rivers. So World Rivers Day is September 25th, 2022. And CDN we're working with WAVE and some of the other organizations on the ground to bring a special programming to highlight that. If you're on your screen right now, you will see that there is a back to school drive by DotSAT. They do this every year where they collect supplies and send them to Dominica for school kids, backpacks, books, crayons, pencils, whatever it is that kids need. It's done by DotSAC, which stands for Dominica Tri-State Connection. Let me see if they have contact information on there. You can call telephone number 203-258-5994. That's in Connecticut, or they have my number on there too. David, it says 203-258-5994. If you're in the New York area, you can call Burnham, 347-285-8408, 347-285-8408. Gamel as well, Gamel Moses, 203-640-2793. And of course, if you contact me, I can put you in touch with them. They also have an Amazon account address where you can go on there and make your donations, and they'll be shipped directly to DotSAC. So we want to thank and congratulate DotSAC for doing this year after year, providing services to the kids in Dominica as they go back to school in the fall semester, fall term, if you what you call it. So thank you, DotSAC. And as I said, also keeping our eyes open for September 25th for World Rivers Day. Dominica can easily be called the River Island, and so I think we should make September 25th a special day, World Rivers Day. United Nations declared World Rivers Day. Tonight, our topic on this week in interview is the PAN initiative between Still PAN initiative and PAN in Harmony. It's an ongoing effort that these two groups of individuals are putting, and especially focused on introducing steel band music into the schools in Dominica. So far, they are targeting 4 schools currently, 2 secondary and 2 primary schools. It was Savonpai and Ben's Primary School, and the Castleberry Secondary School, and St. Martin Secondary School. Those schools are the schools where they've targeted so far. My guest on with me tonight is Miss Andrea Lee, joining us from Dominica. She is part of PAN in Harmony, and the Steel Band Initiative is represented by Lennon Matthew. And the passion that they have for music, the passion they have for PAN comes out in the work that they do. It's all voluntary. And so we have them on tonight on this weekend interview to introduce you to the work that they do and to encourage you to support them, to encourage you to encourage them. Because all of us in one way or another, are striving to go back home, even though it's on vacation. And wouldn't it be so pleasant if, as Andrea said, we used to have Pan by the Bay, something like that could be revived and you could go in and see that. And of course, I have guests, I have odd members of the audience who are not Dominican. And similarly, the pan is a little stronger in some islands than in others, but all of the islands need a little bit of a shake-up when it comes to steel band music. And so we hope we inspire you to do the same thing in Grenada and St. Vincent and St. Lucia and St. Kitts, all of those places that we have folks tuning in right now. And even if you are in the US, you may get involved with your school where your kids are and see if they don't have a steel band music. Maybe you can find someone who knows steel band and try to introduce them to steel band music. So that's what we're talking about tonight with Miss Andrea Louis and Lennon Matthew. We have a video of some of the work that has been done. And so we're going to look at that right now so you can get an idea of what the initiative is. Some of it was recorded live, so we may have a little bit of challenge in the audio, but I think it's awesome video. You'll get the message anyway. So let's roll that video that shows the Steel Pan Initiative.
Hello everyone. Pan in Harmony in Dominica has taken on an initiative to bring steel pan to schools around the country. Our first stop was at the Castleboro Secondary School. Check it out.
What we want to say is that we hope that after we've done that presentation, that you're going to appreciate the steel pan and that you will form your own band here at the school. And we, for the Pan Initiative movement, is really trying to get you a set of steel drums so that you can practice, you can learn how to play, and then you can form your own group and make your school proud. And also we're hoping that you can also do that in your community.
Afternoon, Pan in Harmony, the presentation for the Castleboro Secondary School. What did you think about it?
I think it was very interesting. I really liked it, and it was very catchy, the music.
It was very entertaining, and while I did want to, get up and dance, like the rest of the student population, they were kind of quiet. So I didn't want to be the one outstanding, but it was really wonderful.
Yes, it is very good. I liked it. I mean, it is an encourager for the young generation, to be more in music, in positive music. To set a better future for the young ones.
Did you make out any of the songs that they played?
Yes.
Really?
Skanking Sweet.
Yes, I recognize the Skanking Sweet.
I noticed the calypso for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh Happy Day or something?
important for children to be exposed to this type of music?
Yes, I do. Because it would help them to develop the talents that they probably don't know that they have. It would also help to keep them occupied in positive activities.
Students have to really understand that music is not just saying words. Music starts with the music, and that gives them the opportunity to really develop musical skills that will enable them to step into music.
What do you think should be done so the people in the community can see it and not just the school? What would you like to see done?
Well, we would like to see more establishment of such, into the communities, because that would give the youth them a more, like something to, instead of going to idleness, you go into something that's, productive, So that would be very enhancing for the community as well,
Indeed, that was tremendous. Andrea, good job you guys do, and that was at Casimir's. Give us a little idea of what it took to get to be able to have the kids play in that kind of a way in Casimir's. I guess they were just being introduced to the music. So give us a little walkthrough in terms of the process.
The process involves a lot of practice on our part, which we were happy to do because it's all for a good cause. So we had many nights of lengthy practice to get everything down pat. And then we went up to the school, and it was a very good experience because we were very well received, and we weren't too sure how they would react to the music. But looking at them during the performance, you could see they enjoyed it. They were swaying, as you heard, they were singing along. The teachers were on board with it. I think, honestly, I believe they were surprised because there were so many songs they recognized that they didn't think could be played on steel pan. So it just shows the versatility of the instrument. We could play, or we did play rather. We played gospel, we played reggae, we played soca, we played classical. It was just a wide array of music, and they were very surprised by it, but they were very happy to know that those songs could be played. And I believe when you do it like that, it makes them more interested in the instrument because they think, oh, it's not just quote unquote boring songs or old songs. They could actually play a bouillon on that. They could play a dancehall. They can play almost anything. So they were very receptive. Everybody was dancing and singing along. The teachers were receptive. The teachers themselves said they would happily join a band because they're interested in the instrument as well. So we had the teachers on board, the students on board. We didn't see parents there, but people, they were very interested. It was very well received. and they are anxious to have their own set of steel pans so that they can start their band. And the good thing is that one of our band members, Mr. Chad Zamo, he's a teacher at the school. So we already have a person at the school who can start teaching them. So that's already a step forward for us and for the entire steel pan initiative project.
All right. I don't know if I lost my audio. So then if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up because I want you to. All right. I want you to just talk about what you've seen and how that encourages you. Is that kind of like in line with the vision that you have? Are we on? I know you're not there as yet, but as initial steps, how encouraging is that to see?
Yeah. So the thing about it, Drago, I think a lot of times we do things not understanding the purpose and the depth behind it. And I'm sitting down there listening, and I get to the realization that music is an example for how we should live our life. Music is an example of how we coexist. Because here it is, you have a bunch of folks with different backgrounds, different personality, and all they have to do is just play their part in the harmony, in the grand scheme of things, and you can see the beauty of what they produce when they come together playing just their part. What's the bigger lesson in life? When you think about life, when you think about how we are as a society, so much negativity, so much politics, so much stuff, here is an opportunity for people to support the kids in their development while they learn how to coexist with one another through song, through the steel pan. And that is the amazing thing about it, because in our different skills and gifts and talents in our society, what great outcome we can get if we just play our part and play it well. And that is the power music brings. I think a lot of us don't realize. And when we were talking earlier,
Sam, I don't know if you can hear me, but I lost audio.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Shit. Len, keep you guys. You and Andrea keep talking because I lost audio. I wanted you guys to talk to the folks about how they can assist. I know we need to get musical instruments. Because Andrea you guys can talk about the structure of the band, how many members in the band, so folks can get an idea of what is required to put together such a band and such an effort for the band.
Yeah, so Andrea, I'll just go ahead and get that the initiative part of it. I think when we thought about doing the initiative, the challenge is how can we get that on the ground in Dominica. And as you see, most of us in the Steel Pan initiative are not in Dominica, but what we have at our exposure is the resources, the people, the diaspora population who can help the folks on the ground. And when I first talked to Jackie, one of the issues was trying to get pan to the school and resources. And I think what we can serve as is the link between the people who have the resources to help and getting that resources directed to that initiative in Dominica where Andrea and Jackie and the Pan in Harmony folks come in. So we can partner with them to get them the necessary equipment and tools that they need to spread the steel band to the school. I think we have a huge population. There are different avenues. We can raise funds. We can solicit funds through proposals and so on to get funding to that school. So as I said earlier, we are in the infancy, but the point was to get the excitement out there, get the public involved, get the public aware of what's happening. So when people get excited, when people are aware of the opportunities they are in PAN, then they are more willing to participate and contribute. And that's what we're trying to accomplish with the folks understanding that PAN in Harmony plays the anchor role in making sure that happens. And we just want to partner with them and help them in whatever way we can to get that objective attained.
And of course, we thank you so much for your help, and we're looking forward to this project becoming a reality. And we are very excited for when the pans finally do come to Dominica, and we can go out to the Benz Primary, Salem Pike Primary, and Castlebrook Secondary, and St. Martin Secondary, and start teaching them because really they already had a taste of what it can be, so they're just
Yes.
waiting anxiously for when they have the pans and they can, start knocking the pan and making their own sweet music. So Pan in Harmony consists of 12 core members, including Jackie, our band manager, and we play all over the country. And whenever there is a request for a steel pan performance at an event, we are usually the ones if they want a band or a small side, because we are the most well-known band in Dominica for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that some bands may have lost pans, some for the reasons haven't been able to get back on their feet after the hurricane, some don't have tutors, but they have the interest. So it will be very, very good if we can, share some of those engagements. So if there's a function in Sufre, there's a band there who can do it. And if there's something happening in Rosalie, there's a band there who can, that sort of thing. So we're looking forward to the day when we have steel bands all over the country, literally in just about every community. So we can keep the art form alive and keep the culture going and keep the youth involved and even give the older people, the more mature adults, something to be proud of that has, passed down to the younger generation. Because there are times, you know, the older people think we're not interested, the young ones not interested, but we are interested. It's just a case of having the means and the resources and the ways to get to the steel pan instrument and to get a band going and to get a group going. So we're very excited to be part of this project. We really hope to see it through. We are in 100% support of all the avenues through which the patrons, supporters, potential sponsors and investors can reach us, because this does require some finance, and we're looking forward to the entire community of steel band players, steel band supporters, musicians on a whole, advocates for the art form, just putting together what they can so we can move this process along, because it kind of all goes back to the money.
No,
So we need the steel pans, we need to get the resources out there, but we need to have the funds to make it happen. So we are appealing to the listening audience and the wider community. If you hear something, tell a friend, tell your family member, get them involved, find out how you can contribute so we can get the show on the road.
Yeah, certainly, Andrea. Thank you for that. And of course, you spoke about having teachers and trainers, which is super important to the continued the sustainability of the effort. And so, are you guys also involved in training teachers of the music at the various schools where you go to?
Oh, definitely. We want to have a training of trainers program. And we, in the band, in Pan in Harmony, some of us are equipped to teach. And that is the plan. We want to go out there and teach within the community, some of the adults, so that they don't have to rely on us to go out to them, but we can teach them. And then they in turn can teach the wider community. And then they can still reach out to us if they want help. So as I had said earlier, Mr. Chad Zamo is a part of Pan in Harmony. He's a teacher at the Castleberry Secondary School. So there will come a time, Lord willing, when after he teaches the students and the adults, that they can take over, and he will just be, lending support instead of being the core person to be teaching them. And we're hoping to have that done in the schools that we go to. And if this program can expand to more communities and more schools, then that will be even more fantastic. So that's definitely what we have in mind. So we, Pan in Harmony, will send our members out to the schools to teach. And then after a few months, then they can take over and just continue the process themselves. But we will always be here to help them and to guide them and to lend support however we can.
And to remind the listeners, you guys, what they saw was just at Castleberry Secondary School. You guys have pretty much repeated the process at Salon Pie, Benz, and St. Martin's School, right?
Secondary. Yes, sir, that's what we have done. And the reception, it was amazing at each of the schools. Everybody, they were singing, dancing, clapping. They were everything along to our performance, because it was just so, I believe, unexpected yet exciting. So I think if there was ever any negative connotation or stigma against Pan, then we did a very good job at, crushing that, because we were just, they just loved our performance. And everybody was just floored by it and saying that they would like to join a steel band and bring a friend.
All right. So Len, we're coming up to the close of this, but in closing, in your segment of it, if we had our wish, what would this initiative, this initiative that we involve in collaboration with Pan and Harmony, what would it look like? What would we have achieved, say, 12 months from now? What would you like? What is our dream or wish with that?
Well, this is, in when you get into things like that, it's by no means a sprint. You have to have the willpower, the determination to move, because learning music is not it's not an overnight thing. You're not going to learn it in 2 weeks or a month, or it's supposed to be long term. So 12 months is, it would be nice to see within 12 months we could have, excite the public enough to make the necessary contributions to Pan and Harmony in Dominica, so that they can get the necessary equipments, the pens, to get out to the 4 schools that we have looked at, and hopefully grow from there, where you have more and more kids who are interested in music and discover their talents, discover their abilities they probably never knew they had, and hopefully it can spread through the other schools in the islands and other people can join in. I am by no means trying to I'm not by any means claiming to any or how would I call that, to the idea. I think good ideas grow on their own without the initiator being involved. And I think what we would like to see is more people get on board independently and contribute to Pan and Harmony, and encourage them to go out and do what is necessary to spread music for the schools, to give the kids an option in life. And hopefully they can develop into be good citizens and understanding their role and in the society.
That would be tremendous. Just having the program, having the kids interested, having the community involved, the community involvement part of it that you spoke about is
yes.
To feel to feel the embrace of the community.
Yes.
I remember as a young boy going to primary school in Castlebrooks. At the end of the school year, we would have concerts where we would put on like skits, and the community would come, and everybody would be laughing and really embracing the kids. And I could see something similar happening.
Yeah.
And maybe not just in steel band. Steel band could be really the genesis of it, and have all the instruments play. So, Andrea, talking about the community involvement, and you going in the schools, do you guys have like a collaboration from the Ministry of Education or any other, or maybe community development or any of those other government organizations?
For the time being, not to my knowledge, but I'm pretty sure if you bring this forward to them, then they will lend support.
Right.
But the form of the support we don't know, so that I
Mhm.
cannot speak to. But
Okay.
I know, because we all support local and we talk about, owning what is ours and teaching and passing on to the youth. I'm sure if we were to bring it up to the relevant authorities, we will get support. But I don't know in what shape or form. But I know
Okay.
it will be there.
Yeah, certainly. But in your discussions, you have full support from the school principals and so on, right?
Oh, hands down, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
And Drago, as a matter of fact, in trying to get this on, I was able to talk to a couple of folks who actually is one of the school principals, and music is on the curriculum for students in Dominica. Music should be part of the curriculum, and I think what we have had in the past is the availability of musical instruments to be able to teach people, and it has always been a problem. And steel pan is something that can solve that problem, because it's something that's homegrown. We have people who are capable and willing to spread their talents, who have the love for the music for a long time. So here is an opportunity so that the folks can actually get pan as part of, or music as part of the curriculum.
Yeah, and the thing about the steel pan is that you can get a lot of kids involved.
Yep.
It's not a band where you have 5 people or 10 people. You can get a whole ensemble together, and also if you take care of the instruments, they are durable. They can go from year to year, and then you all of a sudden you have a number of students who are graduated as steel band players, and they're no longer in school. Maybe the hope is that they can now go ahead and be part of a band outside of the school. So listeners, if you're listening, if you're from Castlebrooks, Ben's, Savin Pikes, and Roseau area, St. Martin School alumni, I would encourage you to jump in and to help make it a reality in your particular village. The initial cost is a little bit not daunting, but it's daunting for the folks who are involved right now. But if all of us put our heads together, if all the people from Castlebrooks, or even not all, but 20 people from Castlebrooks come together, I can see us making a dent in what is required for the instruments there and for all the different villages. So I encourage you to do that. And I hope those of you who are not from Castlebrooks, Savin Pie, and the other schools where we are, I hope you get jealous and that you want to see a similar sort of program in your own village. And everything cannot be done by a few people in Pan and Harmony, but I'm sure they would like to have so much of a response that their problem is that they cannot keep up. So I encourage you to, and even if you don't want it in your village as yet, or it's not there, jump in and support. And we can see the tremendous work that's being done. I think all of us can paint a straight line between what's being done and the improvement of community life in Dominica and in the various parts of the country. So my guest tonight on this weekend interview was Mr. Leonard Matthew from the Steel Pan Initiative, who are collaborating with Miss Andrea Louis and her group, Pan in Harmony, and they are actively working on trying to create a revival, if you want to speak of it in the gospel term, of really getting steel band music in the schools and in the communities. So I'm going to ask each of you guys to just make some closing remarks. And I would say thank you very much for making the time to come on.
Okay,
Andrea, you
so
can go
ladies
first. Ladies first.
Definitely, of course, ladies first, right? So, thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much for inviting me onto this program. I appreciate it on behalf of Pan in Harmony, and the band is very excited for this new chapter of steel pan in the country. We will support in any way, shape, and form that we can. We encourage others to support us as well as we keep this art form alive and pass on the knowledge and the skill to everybody in the country, everybody who we can reach out to the children, the teenagers, the young adults, the not so young adults. But we are very happy that we have this chance and we want to keep it going. It is an exciting opportunity, an exciting time for Pan in Dominica, and we are very happy to be part of this. And of course, a big thank you to the Steel Pan Initiative for coming up with this project and for linking with Pan in Harmony. So a big thank you to everyone involved.
Thank you, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on the program tonight. Len, similarly, a closing remarks?
Yeah, before I even say anything, I know there are probably maybe listeners who are wondering how they can immediately make a contribution to Pan in Harmony towards the initiative. This contribution is going to none of us here in the US. One of the challenges we've always have is how we can get financing to stuff in Dominica. So there are several groups, 501c3 number. There are too many of them. But one of the groups they have is Echo 78, and they have a PayPal account. Drago, hopefully you can get that information and put it on your website, put it in your link. So folks can go in there and make a direct contribution to Pan in Harmony. That fund goes straight to Pan in Harmony. They manage it to get the equipment they need. But as I said earlier, I think music is the universal language. Music brings people together of all classes, all talents. And I think, you know, in the cloud of on the smoke of the times we're living in, there is so much negativity in the news. There's so much negativity in politics. And I know a lot of us are away from home, are dying to do something to contribute to our young folks and our society. You know, we talk. But here is an opportunity to act and to do something that contributes to the development of music in the schools, development of the education of the young people, and to show that partnership, show that support with the diaspora and the folks who are on the ground, who are working hard and trying their best to get things done. It's not political. It's free for anyone who wants to participate can participate. I think the objective is to ensure that within the next few years we can have an increase in music awareness, music in school, increase in Pan, which is, by the way, a Black music, and overall development of our young folks and helping them see their gifts and the talents and their confidence and grow. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Len. Thank you for taking the time to come on, and thank you for being part of the genesis of this project. We look to see it grow from strength to strength. And Andrea, as usual, you guys are the boots on the ground in Dominica. Thank you for all you do, and we wish you continued strength. As Len said, contributions can be made through a non-profit called Echo 78. Whatever funds that get contributed there gets sent directly to Pan in Harmony, and it goes directly to paying for transportation to go to those different schools, paying for refreshments, and hopefully enough will come in that will help to get some musical instruments so that when Pan in Harmony goes away, the kids in Castle Bruce and Savon Pie and Benz and St. Martin's School can continue to practice on their own because they will have their own instruments. So I encourage you to support them. I will post the link so that you can make your contributions. So listeners, thank you very much. Thank you, Len and Andrea. And to all the other folks involved, Jackie, Andre, there's no way we cannot we can have a program and not mention her explicitly, because she works tirelessly to see the development and the continued enjoyment of pan music in Dominica. She has a crew with her. They call themselves Pan in Harmony, and likewise we have a group of, I think, about 7 of us, which includes Jackie and Andrea, that we call Steel Pan Initiative. And we're already seeing some fruits going out into the schools and teaching the kids to play the steel pan. So thank you very much, listeners. I hope you have. Yes, Len?
Hey, Drago. I just want to say this is the beautiful, majestic Mon Diablo there in the background.
Sam, put Len back on so we can see Mon Diablo in Dominica. There you go.
Yeah. I am tempted to ask how many times you've made it to the top of that mountain.
This is the beautiful Mont Diablo facing north from Benz, actually.
From Benz.
So I just wanted folks who probably wondering where that is. That's not the US. That's Mont Diablo.
It's Mont Diablo.
North facing slope of the majestic Mont Diablo in Dominica.
Awesome.
And you've reached that peak how many times, Len?
What's that?
You've reached that peak how many times?
Hey, why are you asking me that question online?
Okay, we'll continue in private. My apologies.
No, I hiked all over Dominica. I've never gone up on Diablo either.
Oh my gosh, really?
So then when we go back home, that's something we have to do.
That's where we gotta go.
I will hold you guys to it. I'll hold you guys to it.
Andrea, have you gone up on Diablo?
Of course I have. I've done it twice.
Oh, God.
Awesome. Oh, wow. That's why she's showing us up, then we have to redeem ourselves.
One for each of you. That's why I did it twice. One for each of you.
Awesome. But folks, thank you so much. Let's continue to keep striving. And listeners, as you hear, we need all the support that we can get. And so I encourage you to contribute. And all the best, guys. Enjoy the rest of the week. And we will see you next week, Wednesday, on another edition of This Week in Interview. Thank you to my producer, Sam, and the other members of TDN Network. And have a wonderful time. Have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, man.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you, Andrea.
Bye.